lots of warning flags that went up, though. Probably the most telling one was the drive home, and I didn't realize this till I read the book. The dad had Googled the route home from Idaho all the way back to Pennsylvania, and it's a straight line right across. I think it was I-90
Yeah.
or I-80, whatever. I-90, I
One
think,
of
goes
them.
right
Yeah.
across
Yeah.
it. Right. And Brian is like, nope, nope, nope. We're going to dip down to Colorado and we're going to take this long, circuitous route and add days to our trip, even despite we might have snowstorms and everything else. And the dad's like, at this point, the dad's living with a lot of the guilt because he doesn't think he's been a good dad. And so he's got reps of acquiescing and not wanting to cause a fight, but that was probably one of the big signs in there as well. And then along the route, Brian then says, "Dad, I got to tell you about something." And he's like, "Uh-oh, what is it?" And Dad's thing is going to drop the major bomb of something. And it actually happened to be that he was about to be fired as a teaching assistant,
Hmm.
because his students couldn't stand him because he's a harsh grader, and they're about to kick him out. There's a lot of interesting data points. And yeah, the dad did ask the neighbor to, "Hey, can you watch out for my son?" The neighbor invites him to a party, to be nice. And so you have all these data points, as well as Kohberger's behavior around girls. They made him feel creepy. So I didn't see anything or read anything yet. Again, I'm only about halfway through that said, "Oh my gosh, we missed all the signs." No, this is an odd kid with unusual behavior, and that had a lot of problems growing up, and the dad's feeling guilty over those things, so he's trying to be a better dad today. Where he's gonna go with it, and I've read some of the reviews also on Amazon online for it too, and a lot of people are saying, "Well, it doesn't tell me anything I didn't already know."
Sure.
Yeah, pretty much, but it's a great summary of the case.
Yeah.
It's a for me, as a behavior guy, I'm loving it because it tell me backstories and
Hmm.
life arcs of everyone involved.
Yeah.
The girls and the boy that were killed, their backstories, their family stories, their history.
Yeah,
So that's what
and the more
it's good context.
information that you have on all of the characters in this, which are real human beings, obviously, the better you can understand it. The better you can understand the interactions between everybody, why
Yep.
decisions are made this way or that way because of their behavior arcs, their history, all of that. It certainly, I mean, obviously, there was a lot of weird behavior when Kohberger. I mean, it was interesting when they got pulled over. That was a weird one. The first thing the dad brings up is the murders to the cop. And there's that famous clip where Kohberger's like, like what are you saying? And he's driving a white Elantra coming from there. It was um, it was bizarre. And then of course we know Kohberger back home cleaning the back of the car with bleach, wearing gloves, putting things into Ziploc bags, and then eventually being arrested. I mean, there's even been some stories, I mean, unconfirmed, that even the sisters had brought up, "How do we know it's not you, Brian?" At Thanksgiving dinner. So there's a lot of interesting thing there. One thing I will note, and I want to get your thoughts on this with the behavior arc. Dad really had that guilt. He really wanted to be there for his son. He wanted to be a good dad. They arrested Kohberger. They take him back to Moscow. As far as we know, they've never gone back to Moscow. They've never been at his hearings. They've never been at anything. And Kohberger's had a lot of hearings, um, but they never came back with him. They were able to drive out there to pick him up for Thanksgiving, but why is there no family support behind their son?
Oh, sorry. It's my son. So using that deep empathy,
Yeah,
reversing, and trying to place myself in that position with those kinds of facts and data, I would feel like a crushing failure,
yeah,
and I can't face it. I mean, so I literally just think it's not complicated in most of these
I hear
situations.
you.
I just think he must feel like a crushing failure as a father, and he can't even face it yet. I mean, it's got to be devastating. It's got to be absolutely devastating that you didn't do in his mind.
Mhm.
Granted, whether he's guilty or not, he's being accused of it. So in his mind, because it would be my mind, I was supposed to not allow this to happen,
Yeah,
and it did.
yeah. I hear you. It's not just we don't believe that he's innocent, or it's I can't face up to the fact that my son is sitting in this position, guilty or innocent. I can't
Right.
face up to it. That's your opinion, and that makes sense. That makes more sense than just
Yeah.
we think he's guilty. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I generally, when it comes to human behavior, I don't try to overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
I really try to keep them really very simple because usually it's a simple answer makes the most sense.
Hmm.
It's like, what would you do? What would you feel? Just try your best to put yourself in that horrendous situation. You're a dad.
Hmm.
And you. I know you do a tremendous amount for your daughter. And we do the same thing with my kids. And if they stumble so hard and you weren't there when you thought you needed to be, even
Yeah.
though everyone's walking their own path, our role as parents is the number one job in the world to us. And
Yeah.
when and he it was to him. He took his job as dad, as I'm reading, and I believe so before that, very, very seriously. And he had a lot of guilt that he didn't do a better job up until this point. And so to
Hmm.
be faced with his own failure, not just his son being accused, but his own failure, of your own identity as a
Hmm.
human being, that is extremely tough blow. It's
Sure.
for us psychologically. So how someone responds to that, you can only have your own conjecture. So
Yeah.
this is how he's responding to his own view of his own self worth.
We also don't have mom though. We don't have any of the sisters. Nobody else
Hmm.
is there. I think
I think
that
it's family crushing.
yeah,
I think it's family crushing.
yeah. I think it speaks some volumes there. And I can't imagine being in that family trying to come to grips with what is very likely a reality here. Obviously, he's innocent until
Yeah.
proven guilty, but you look at the facts and go, yeah, I don't know, this doesn't look very good for our son. Fascinating book. If you want to check it out, it is out there right now. Howard Bloom. It's When the Night Comes Falling, a requiem for the Idaho student murders.
And probably part of that too, Tony, I'll just add one more thing
Yeah.
on that too, was that so here they are, he seems to care very deeply about being a good father. Now he's also got to look at the fact and live with the fact of the tragedy that there's four other fathers out there and parents and guardians
Yeah.
that are without their children.
Yeah.
That is equally blow. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, it's
No.
just it's the most devastating thing you can face, because literally he could lose his son
Mhm.
and he's got to face parents that's lost their children. I mean, that is the worst thing in the world to do. That is an
Yeah.
extremely tough thing to face. So I don't know. I don't know how any of these people are facing it. It is horrible.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.